All right, guys, we are back. We just finished picking up our, I guess you can call it a haul for lack of a better word. We did have to put some things back, but that's what's making this $20 challenge, well, so challenging. Big game, Super Bowl, right around the corner. Gonna have some friends over. This is going to work as a meal. Let me explain sort of what I have in mind. I'm thinking of doing pulled pork nachos, right? And we've got our chips, we've got our cheese, got some seasoning, we've got our pork butt, but you can't really have the big game without, wings or something, but wings are way too expensive. But I was able to get an amazing deal on some drumsticks. So we're gonna do a buffalo marinade on the drumsticks. We're gonna save a little bit, just enough of our taco seasoning to sort of season them up a little bit, give them a little bit of extra flavor. And then we're gonna use the rest for our pork butt. This is what's gonna consume a lot of the time. That's where we gotta make sure all the flavor really, really hits. But there are some tricks we can use along the cooking process to make this even more flavorful. First thing we're gonna do is let's start on this pork butt. Now, this is an empty shaker bottle. I'm just using it so that I can distribute the salt and our seasoning evenly and thoroughly, because I don't want this just all falling in one spot, then I'm SOL. Let's get gloved up here. Like I said, I'm gonna put our seasoning in here just so it is easier to handle and distribute, because I do not want all of this going into just one spot. Little swig of salt in there. And I'm really not concerned about it being overly salty. The pork is an extremely big, thick cut of meat, and it's going to be cooking very slowly for a very long time, so it needs to get all the way through. Great. Now, it's 20 bucks, that's all I got, so I'm not trimming anything off. How it is how it's going to get cooked. Cannot afford any waste with this, but what I am going to do is actually double dip here and use some of our buffalo sauce as the binder. See if we can't impart as a little extra flavor. Random fun food fact. Pork butt, it's not from the butt, it's from the shoulder. Why they call it that? No clue. That's as much of the fact I have. Let's do a little pour over here. And this is thick, so a little will go a long way. A great tip for this, if you are prepping this with a gathering in mind, the big game or whatever it should be, do this step the night before. Marinate it, get that buffalo sauce on there, let it sit overnight. You can even go ahead and season it as well. Maybe you found a different 49-cent packet. Or if you're not adhering to the $20 challenge, maybe you're just trying to prep it. Do this the night before, using something like a buffalo sauce that is acidic. That acid is going to seep into the fat and add a little bit extra flavor. Okay, now we can use our seasoning. So with this, I'm going to cut a few extra slits in because we've got a couple of flaps here, but I want to make sure that the rub gets as deep in there as I can. I'm not going to cut through it, but I'm going to cut fairly deep, just shy of the bone. Get up high here, so we got a nice even distribution. Gotta watch how much we use. We don't have a lot. Perfect. All right, so we've got this seasoned. What we're gonna do is just let it sit while we go ahead and start our fire. We're gonna get that set up, then bring this on, put it on for an indirect cook, and let the heat do the rest. So we're just getting back from putting our pork butt on, and we're gonna start preparing our chicken. Now, this is gonna get a lot of time to marinate because we're not gonna have to put them on until we're just about ready to pull our pork butt off and unwrap it. Now that we've prepped our chicken, let's get into getting them ready for seasoning. So the butterfly, which I actually like that technique, and this isn't a whole technique driven video or anything, but when you set your chicken on the grill, it's usually this side Then you've got to flip it over to get this side, and then you're doing that weird turn to get the edges of it because it never fully gets there. Butterflying, a little timely, but it helps expedite the cook time. So if you're in a pinch, you don't have a ton of time for cooking, but you have a little bit more for prep, you can just butterfly them, which is just cutting, scoring down the middle there. You're gonna cut through some of those tendons. You'll expose the bone, roll the extra meat back, and there you go. You can just set your drumstick down like that. Got our buffalo sauce, so we're gonna use some of this, but not all. We still wanna have some to brush on during the cook. And the great thing about butterflying your drumsticks, you can get flavor really in there. We've got the buffalo sauce flavor going literally down to the bone, inside of the meat. It's not just gonna be the skin or just that first initial little bite that has flavor. Next up, we've got our seasoning. Remember, we saved some of this for this exact reason. Now we're just gonna hit this with a little piece of saran wrap, toss it in the fridge, and put it on when we're getting ready to take our pork butt off. So we've got some time. Let's let the buffalo sauce melt together, do its thing, and impart as much flavor as it can for 20 bucks. All right, guys, so we've just pulled our brisket off. We're gonna let it rest a bit, and I'm very excited to see how this is all turning out. Can't wrap Christmas gifts, but I can wrap a butt. Okay, so it looks like we did a pretty good job. Yeah, let's let it sit a little bit longer so everything fully redistributes. But in the meantime, have this little piece here. You can get a little bit of the tanginess from the buffalo sauce in the little fat pockets. I'm not mad at it. This is good. Okay, let me stop before I eat it all. We're gonna let it rest a little bit longer. Then we're gonna shred it, top our tortillas with it, heat up that melted cheese, get everything going, and then we're ready to serve. All right, guys, it's time to put everything together. Quick recap. We had $20. We got ourselves a pack of chicken legs. We got ourselves pork butt for less than $1 a pound. Got some chips, buffalo wing sauce, taco seasoning, and nacho cheese. Let's see how we did. Get yourself a nice tray here. Got that nacho cheese. I heated it up in the microwave just so it's a little warm and a lot easier to use. Let's pour that over. Let's see how the pork turned out. That looks really good. Here's the real test. Yeah. Oh. And roll that around in some of the drippings that I made. It's nice and tender, fall apart, but it's not mushy. Now we're just going to go ahead and set this on top of our tortillas and cheese. Letting it roll around in the drippings, catch all that extra flavor. Now we're just missing our chicken. And did these turn out absolutely amazing. Let's lay them out. All right, guys. So that is the end of this version of 20 or less. We were able to make pulled pork nachos along with some smoked buffalo drumsticks. 20 bucks. This will easily feed 4 to 6 people because we still have half a bag of nachos, half a container of cheese, and half a pork butt left. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it. Give it a shot. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe. Most of all, enjoy. That's good. That's really good.